Have you ever noticed that English speakers are just completely obsessed with food? Like, even when they aren't actually eating.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere.
Right. We tell people to, spill the beans, or we take wild news with a grain of salt, and when something is really easy, we just call it a piece of cake.
Yeah, the vocabulary completely takes over the language.
It really does.
Yeah.
But let's ground this for a second. Imagine you, our listener, are sitting at a dinner party. The host has just spent, hours cooking this beautiful, elaborate meal.
High-pressure situation.
Exactly. You take a bite, and it's absolutely incredible. Everyone is looking at you, waiting for your reaction. You want to compliment the chef. You want to ask how they made it. You want to, connect.
But your mind just goes blank.
Completely blank. So you just sit there, point at your plate, and say, it's good.
Which, is perfectly fine for basic survival, sure. But it leaves you a bit stranded on, a conversational island.
Yeah.
You completely miss out on the human connection that happens over a shared meal.
Exactly. Talking about food in English goes way beyond simply pointing at a menu and saying, I want that. It's about sharing culture, expressing your specific preferences, and honestly, just surviving a dinner party without accidentally insulting the host.
Which is a very real risk, by the way.
A huge risk. So for our deep dive today, we're going completely culinary. And specifically, we are designing this next 15 minutes or so as an audio overview for you, the intermediate English learner.
Right. We're going to arm you with the essential English vocabulary to confidently describe flavors, navigate kitchen tools, understand the somewhat complex rules of modern diets.
Very complex.
Yeah, and even master those sneaky food idioms we mentioned earlier.
And we're going to make it fun. If you're learning English, do not worry about making mistakes today. Just pull up a chair to our audio dining table. Okay, let's unpack this.
Sounds good.
Before we even step into the kitchen to cook, we need the vocabulary to describe exactly what we want to experience in our mouths. The sensations.
Right. And in English, when we talk about eating, we generally divide our physical experience into two main categories.
Okay, what are they?
Well, you have flavors, which is how the food actually tastes on your tongue. And then you have textures, which is how it physically feels inside your mouth.
Got it. So let's start with flavors, the big ones. We have sweet, which is that sugar or honey taste. Think chocolate or very ripe fruit.
Yeah, the crowd pleaser.
Definitely. Then we have sour, which is a sharp, highly acidic taste, like if you bite directly into a lemon or taste vinegar.
And we also have salty, which is fairly self-explanatory. Think of like potato chips or pretzels.
Right.
And then there's bitter. Now, bitter is, it's really interesting because from an evolutionary standpoint, humans actually evolved to hate bitter flavors.
Wait, really? We evolved to hate them.
Oh, absolutely. In nature, a really strong bitter taste usually signaled that a plant was, poisonous.
Oh, wow. Like a survival mechanism.
Exactly. So then today, we've essentially trained ourselves to love the complex bitterness of things like dark coffee or bitter melon. It's what we call an acquired taste.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I have to bring up a word from our sources that I think is incredibly important, especially for learners. And that word is bland. B-L-A-N-D.
Ah, yes. The dreaded bland.
It just means lacking flavor. To me, a bland meal is like watching a movie with absolutely no plot.
That is a harsh review.
But it's true. You sit through the whole thing, nothing happens, it's completely forgettable, and at the end, you just feel a little sad.
That's a perfect analogy, honestly.
Right.
Bland is definitely a negative critique in English. If you tell a chef their food is bland, you aren't just saying it's, mild.
Right.
You're telling them it's boring, uninspired, and desperately needs salt or spices.
Speaking of spices, let me ask a clarifying question here, because this specific point trips up a lot of native and non-native speakers alike.
Okay, lay it on me.
Is there a real functional difference between saying something is spicy versus saying it is hot?
Oh, that is a brilliant distinction to make. Yes, absolutely. In English, hot can simply mean high temperature.
Like a fresh cup of coffee.
Exactly. A cup of coffee fresh out of the machine is physically hot. It will burn your tongue. But spicy or hot, when describing flavor specifically, well, that means it produces a chemical burning sensation.
Right, because of the spices in the food?
Exactly. It's usually caused by a chemical called capsaicin, which is found in chili peppers.
Capsaicin?
Yeah, and capsaicin actually tricks your brain into thinking your mouth is literally on fire, even though the temperature is totally normal.
That is so weird to think about.
It is. So a dish like a cold noodle salad can be freezing cold in physical temperature, but still incredibly hot and spicy in flavor.
Got it. Okay, now what about texture? Because you can have a great complex flavor, but if the texture is wrong, like if the physical feeling is off, the meal is totally ruined.
Oh, 100%.
Imagine a wet, soft potato chip. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. Texture is crucial, and English has highly specific words for it. Let's look at crunchy or crispy.
Those are my favorites.
Right. This means the food is firm and actually makes a loud, satisfying noise when you break it or bite into it. Fried chicken should be crispy. Fresh green apples should be crunchy.
But how does something get crispy? Is it just burnt?
Not at all. The mechanism of crispiness is actually all about dehydration.
Dehydration.
Yeah. When you drop food into hot oil, the moisture on the very outer surface of the food instantly boils away.
Oh, wow.
And that rapidly dehydrated, moisture-free surface is exactly what creates that beautiful, crispy crunch.
That's amazing. On the completely opposite side of the spectrum, though, we have chewy, which means you really have to work your jaw.
Right, you have to chew it over and over.
Like gummy bears. Gummy bears are chewy. But here's the thing. I want to talk about meat for a second.
Okay.
Because the sources mention the word tender, which means soft and easy to cut or bite. If I order a nice steak, I want it to be tender. But sometimes, it's just chewy.
And that's a massive difference in quality. You desperately want your steak to be tender. Meat is made of tight muscle fibers.
Right.
When it's cooked correctly, those fibers relax and break down, making it tender. If your steak is chewy, the fibers are all clenched up, you're essentially saying it feels like you're eating a leather shoe.
Yeah, I've had a few shoe steaks in my life.
We all have. You also want to watch out for the word greasy or oily, which just means the food is completely coated in too much leftover fat.
Right, okay. So if I'm at that dinner party now, I don't have to just nod and smile. I can say, this fried chicken is incredibly crispy on the outside, very tender on the inside, and the flavor is the perfect balance of sweet and spicy.
Look at that.
See? I'm already a much better guest.
Much, much better.
Yeah.
But now that we know the precise results we want, crispy, tender, sweet, spicy, we have to rewind a bit. We have to move into the laboratory where it all happens.
The kitchen.
The kitchen.
Yes. The action sequence. How do we actually create those textures and flavors using kitchen tools and cooking methods?
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at a recipe in English, you aren't just reading a list, you're looking at a series of very specific action verbs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's build a meal and break those verbs down. If we're making, say, a stir fry, we need to start with prep. First, you have peel, which is stripping away the outer skin from fruits or vegetables.
Like you peel an onion or a carrot.
Exactly. Then you have chop. This is using a knife on a cutting board to violently cut that peeled food into small, bite-sized pieces.
And then you have stir, which is just mixing ingredients around with a spoon in a continuous circular motion.
Right.
But honestly, my favorite action word from all our sources is whisk. W-H-I-S-K.
Oh, that's a great word.
To whisk is to beat liquid ingredients like eggs or heavy cream very quickly. To me, using a whisk is basically creating a tiny, violent kitchen tornado in a bowl just to introduce air into the mixture.
A kitchen tornado? That's scientifically pretty accurate, actually. You're aerating the liquid. And conveniently, the wire tool you use to do that is also called a whisk.
Right. The tool and the action are the same word.
Exactly. Which brings us to the broader tools and methods. We pair specific metal vessels with specific cooking methods to manipulate the physics of the food.
Okay, let's match them up for our listeners.
Yeah.
If I have a pot, which is a tall, deep metal container, I'm probably going to boil something.
Yes, boiling.
And boiling is cooking food submerged in extremely hot, violently bubbling water, like boiling pasta or potatoes.
Or, using that same pot, you might steam something.
Oh, right, steaming.
Yeah, steaming is cooking food suspended over the boiling water using just the hot water vapor. Steam actually holds a massive amount of latent heat energy, so it cooks vegetables very thoroughly while keeping them incredibly tender.
And doesn't it preserve the vitamins better?
It does. Unlike boiling, where the nutrients sometimes just wash away into the water, steaming keeps them locked in.
Nice. Now, if I have a pan or a frying pan, which is a wide, shallow, flat metal container, I'm going to fry food. Frying means cooking in a shallow pool of hot oil or fat.
And this is where we get that dehydration effect we talked about earlier, giving us that crispy texture.
Exactly. And if you're outside in the backyard, you might grill, which is cooking meat or vegetables on metal grates directly over an open flame or strong radiant heat.
Nothing like a good summer grill.
Absolutely. Okay, but here's a point of confusion that I really want to push back on.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's talk about the oven. That large insulated machine in the kitchen that gets very hot. The sources list two totally different methods for the oven: bake and roast.
Yes.
But to me, they both just mean shoving a tray of food into a hot metal box.
Right.
So what's the actual functional difference?
What's fascinating here is that the difference has almost nothing to do with the oven itself and everything to do with the chemistry of the food and the application of fat.
Wait, really? Chemistry?
Yeah. We use the word bake when we are cooking things that fundamentally change their internal structure to become solid. You bake bread. You bake a cake.
Oh, I see.
You are taking a liquid batter or a soft dough and using heat to transform it into a solid, spongy thing.
So it's changing states.
Exactly. But we use the word roast when we are cooking something that already has a solid structure, like a whole chicken or raw carrots.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Right. We cook it in the oven for a long time at a high heat, often coating it with oil or fat to caramelize the outside. So you bake a cake, because it changes state, but you roast a chicken, because it's already a chicken.
You bake soft dough into bread, but you roast solid potatoes.
You've got it.
Okay, so I've chopped my vegetables on the cutting board. I've roasted my chicken in the oven to get that crispy skin. I've whisked my sauce in a pan. The meal is looking beautiful.
Sounds delicious.
It is. Before I even serve it, we hit the ultimate modern dinner party minefield: dietary restrictions.
Oh, yes. Navigating the modern menu requires a whole new vocabulary of nutrition, specialized diets, and health philosophies.
It really does. It's not just about a balanced diet anymore, just eating different types of healthy food in the right amounts. We hear so much about the three main building blocks of food: protein, carbohydrates, and fats.
Often referred to as macronutrients, or macros for short. And people heavily adjust these based on their health goals. For instance, a low-carb diet means eating very little sugar or starches.
So you completely avoid bread, rice, and pasta.
Exactly, forcing your body to burn fat for energy instead.
But the big ones, the ones that you absolutely must know if you're cooking for people today, are vegetarian and vegan.
Right.
Now, a vegetarian is someone who does not eat meat. Simple enough. No chicken, no beef, no fish. But vegan, to me, being vegan is basically playing the vegetarian game on the hardest possible difficulty level.
That's actually a highly accurate way to look at it. A vegan diet is a strict philosophical and dietary boundary. A vegan does not eat any animal products whatsoever.
Not just meat.
Right? No meat, of course, but also no animal byproducts. So no eggs, no milk, no cheese, no butter.
Wow.
Many vegans won't even eat honey because it's technically produced by bees. It's a total exclusion of the animal kingdom from the plate.
That is a serious commitment. Okay, and then we have gluten-free. Now, we hear this everywhere. Is it just a trend?
For some, it's a preference, sure. But for many, it's a serious medical necessity, like for people with celiac disease. Gluten is a specific family of proteins found in grains like wheat, barley, and rye.
And what does gluten actually do? Like, why is it in everything?
Think of gluten as culinary glue.
Culinary glue.
Yeah. When you mix wheat flour with water, the gluten proteins form this stretchy, elastic network. It's literally what gives bread its chewy texture and allows dough to stretch and rise without tearing.
Oh, I had no idea.
So gluten-free baking is actually incredibly difficult because you're removing the very glue that holds the bread together. Bakers have to use complex blends of rice flours and gums just to replicate it.
That is fascinating, and this is exactly why we have to be so careful. Knowing terms like gluten-free or knowing how to ask, does this dish contain any nuts, isn't just about catering to picky eaters.
Well, not at all.
For a lot of people, it's critical for their health due to severe, life-threatening allergies.
Right. If someone says they have a severe peanut allergy or gluten intolerance, you can't just, pick the peanuts off the top of the salad and say, oh, it's fine now.
Yeah, that does not work.
You have to know exactly what ingredients, the foundational raw foods used to construct the dish, went into the meal to avoid cross-contamination. Clear communication about ingredients is a matter of profound safety and respect for your guests.
Okay, so the dietary needs are fully sorted. The food is finally, safely on the table. Everyone is sitting down. Now, what phrases do you actually need to navigate sharing this meal with native English speakers?
Let's start with the moment you sit down. If you've been smelling this amazing roast chicken all afternoon and you are extremely hungry, you don't just mechanically say, I am very hungry.
Right, that sounds like a robot.
A common, slightly dramatic, informal phrase is, I'm starving.
I'm starving. I use that one constantly. And as the host, once all the food is displayed on the table, you might gesture to it and say, help yourself.
A classic phrase.
I've always found this phrase a little funny, though, because literally translated help yourself sounds like the ultimate polite English way to say, I'm not serving you, go get it yourself.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually a fascinating window into cultural hospitality.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In some high-context cultures, the host serving the guest every single bite is the highest form of respect. But in English-speaking cultures, saying help yourself is meant to break down the formal, awkward barriers.
So it's about making them comfortable.
Exactly. You're actually telling your guests, my home is your home. Don't wait for permission. Be completely comfortable. You're elevating them from a formal guest to a member of the family.
Okay, that's a much warmer way to look at it. So everyone has helped themselves. They eat. And then the host asks, would you like a second helping?
Which simply means, do you want more food?
But why do we use the word helping? Why not just say, do you want a second plate?
It goes all the way back to the historical idea of serving or assisting someone. A helping evolved to mean the specific portion of food that serves or helps satisfy a person's hunger.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so a second helping is just your second serving of assistance.
I love that. And if you are completely satisfied, your belt is tight, and you physically can't eat another bite, you simply smile and say, I'm full, thank you.
Which naturally brings us to the absolute best part of any large meal.
The leftovers.
Leftovers. The food that survives the dinner party and remains uneaten at the end of the night.
There is an undeniable glory in leftovers. You pack them up, put them in the fridge, and somehow, miraculously, when you heat them up the next day, they taste even better than they did the night before. Plus, you don't have to cook again.
And there's actually science to that.
Wait, really? Science to leftovers?
Yes. Overnight in the fridge, the complex flavor compounds, the spices and the proteins, continue to react and mingle. The flavors literally deepen.
That is amazing.
But even after all the leftovers are eaten and the physical meal is officially over, in English, the conversation about food never really stops.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Food vocabulary sneaks out of the kitchen and into everyday life as idioms. We use food words to talk about situations that have absolutely zero to do with eating.
It's a testament to how fundamentally food is ingrained in human psychology and culture. Our brains naturally use what we eat as metaphors for how we live.
Let's look at a few common ones for our learners. The first one is piece of cake. If a task is a piece of cake, it means it's incredibly easy to do.
Like, don't worry about the English exam, it'll be a piece of cake.
Exactly. The logic is pretty simple. Eating a slice of cake requires zero effort, and it's highly enjoyable.
Then there's not my cup of tea. This is a deeply British, very polite way of saying you don't like something or you just aren't interested in it.
Right. Like, if a friend invites you to a heavy metal concert, you might say, I appreciate the invite, but heavy metal just isn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's a gentle, non-offensive rejection.
Now, this next one I have to challenge. The phrase, spill the beans.
Oh, a classic.
This means to accidentally reveal a secret. Like, come on, tell me what happened at the party. Spill the beans. But seriously, who is walking around carrying beans in secret? Why beans?
It is a totally absurd image. While the exact historical origin is heavily debated by linguists, the most popular theory traces it all the way back to ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece?
Yeah. Back then, members of secret societies or local governments would vote anonymously on admitting new members by dropping different colored beans into an opaque jar.
Oh, wow.
A white bean meant yes, a black bean meant no. If you were clumsy and knocked the jar over spilling the beans, the secret vote was revealed before it was supposed to be.
A secret bean election. That is amazing. Okay, the last idiom from our guide is take it with a grain of salt.
A very useful one today.
Extremely useful. This means you shouldn't completely believe what someone says. You should maintain a healthy level of skepticism. I use this one all the time for like wild viral recipes I see on social media.
Oh yeah, those are the worst.
A video claims you can bake a perfect 3-tier wedding cake in the microwave in 10 seconds, and I immediately think, yeah, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But what does salt have to do with being skeptical?
This one has an incredible origin. It goes back to the ancient Roman writer Pliny the Elder. In his writings, he detailed a recipe for an antidote to a deadly poison. And the very last line of the recipe translated to, be taken fasting plus a grain of salt.
So literally, a little bit of salt helped you swallow poison and survive.
Exactly. Over the centuries, that evolved into a metaphor. When you hear toxic or fake information, you take it with a grain of salt to protect yourself from being poisoned by a lie.
Mind blown. Salt as the ultimate antidote to fake news.
Pretty much.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means it's time to put this into practice. We want to bring this entire linguistic journey together into a practical challenge.
Right. The guide we're utilizing today offers a fantastic 4-sentence learning challenge. The goal is to describe your absolute favorite dish using the vocabulary we just unpacked.
Here are the 4 sentences you need to complete. Sentence 1, my favorite dish is dish name. Sentence 2, it is prepared by cooking method. Sentence 3, the flavor is flavor. And sentence 4, I like it because the texture is texture.
For example, using the source's suggestion, my favorite dish is fried rice. It is prepared by frying rice with eggs and vegetables in a hot pan. The flavor is incredibly salty and rich. I like it because the texture of the rice is just a little bit chewy while the vegetables are crunchy.
I really want you to practice this challenge out loud on your own. Try it with a few different meals. Get comfortable feeling how words like tender, roasting, crispy, and sour sound when you say them out loud.
And as you practice, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We just saw how English has built so many colorful historical idioms around things like tea, cake, salt, and beans.
Yeah.
It raises an important question for you. What do the food idioms in your native language reveal about what your culture historically valued most?
Oh, I love that. Think about that the next time you're sitting around a dinner table. You have the vocabulary now. You know your flavors, you understand your textures, you can visualize the cooking methods.
You can navigate the dietary restrictions like a pro and politely ask for a second helping.
Exactly. So no more just pointing at your plate and saying, it's good.
No.
You're fully ready to join the conversation. Until next time, keep exploring, keep practicing, and enjoy your next meal.